you got a few rental properties, there's a good chance you built up a decent chunk of equity, maybe from paying down your mortgage, maybe just from how much home values have gone up lately. And at some point, you'll probably ask the question, can I use that equity for something productive? Because for investors, the equity sitting in a property, it's not just a number on a screen. It's cash that you can't reach even when there's real work to be done. It's the kitchen remodel that'll let you raise rents. It's the down payment on your next duplex. Or you can just clean up a messy stack of high interest credit cards without touching the 2.5% rate on your primary home. But when it comes to tapping that equity on an investment property, the options are actually pretty limited. And the most common one, getting a HELOC, it comes with a lot more baggage than most investors realize. So in this video, I want to walk you through how a HELOC really works on an investment property, what the costs and risks look like, and an alternative option that might give you a bit more flexibility depending on your goals. So a HELOC is really just a credit line tied to your property. If you got enough equity, the bank will set a limit, say $80,000, and you can pull from it whenever you need to during the first 10 years. You only pay interest on what you use, and that's what makes it feel pretty flexible. But after that, well, things change. You hit the repayment phase, and now you're paying back the principal as well, which means that low payment suddenly ain't so low anymore. On a primary home, this is usually manageable. But as soon as it's a rental, everything gets tighter. Lenders see non-owner occupied properties as higher risk, so they crank up the requirements. You get a smaller line, a higher rate, and a much closer look at your finances. And the second it's approved, the payment is going to hit your debt to income, even if you haven't touched a dollar of it yet. See, that's where a lot of investors get caught off guard, because the idea of a HELOC sounds simple until you realize how much tougher it is when it's not your own house. So once you start the application, here's what that tighter lending really looks like in practice. You usually need a credit score of bare minimum 620. Some lenders might go a little lower, but anything under that makes the approval process pretty rough. And even if your credit is solid, you'll need equity, and most places won't go above 80% loan to value. So if your property is worth $500,000 and you still owe $400,000, that's already too tight for most banks. Then come the reserves. For a primary home, lenders don't usually ask too much, but on a rental, they want to see cash sitting in the bank, enough to cover 6 months of payments, including tax, insurance, and the new HELOC itself, and that's not even touching rental income. You'll have to show steady tenants, maybe even provide operating income reports just to prove the property is carrying its own weight. Now, it doesn't mean that a HELOC is impossible, it just means it's not built for investors who are already maxed out or stretching a bit to scale up. Lenders are looking for low risk, low leverage borrowers. And if that's not where you're at right now, this just ain't for you. But let's say you do get approved. Now you've got the line open, you got access to capital, but that's also where the real costs start to sink in. First, you got the processing fees, which will usually land between 2 and 5% of the total line. Stuff like an origination fee, a few hundred for an appraisal, legal, recording costs, all on top of that. Some lenders will even tack on annual maintenance fees, inactivity fees, or even early cancellation penalties if you close it out in the first couple of years. Then there's the draw and repayment structure. The first 10 years feel manageable. Interest only on what you draw on. But once the draw period ends, you're repaying both principal and interest, and the monthly cost can jump a lot. If you've been pulling in a few hundred a month and suddenly your payment jumps by $600, that can wipe out your margin overnight. Add to that fact that most HELOCs are variable rate, so if interest rates rise during your draw period, your monthly payments go up even faster. And if you're still trying to grow, adding units, refinancing, buying new deals, that kind of uncertainty can stall out everything. So this is usually the point where a HELOC just kind of stops making sense. Fact is, if you're trying to build a portfolio, every new loan just makes the next one harder to qualify for. Even if you haven't touched the line at all, the lender still counts the payment. So your next deal, your next refi, it all gets harder. You're watching rates, bracing for payment jumps, keeping cash on the sidelines just to keep the bank happy. It's a lot of pressure to hold on to. So for some investors, the better move isn't borrowing at all. That's where equity-based options start to make more sense. There's no debt, no interest, no monthly payments to worry about. You're not giving up control of the property. You're trading a share of future appreciation for access to capital now. And if you're trying to scale up without tying up your credit, that trade-off, giving up a little appreciation for more flexibility, can actually be the smarter long-term play. And for my money, the best way to go down this route is with Point. They'll give you a lump sum of cash now, and in exchange, they get a piece of whatever your property is worth down the line. You still own the place, your name stays on the title, and you decide how to use the money. Some people put it toward renovations, others toward their next property. And because it's not a loan, there's no income check and nothing on your credit. They'll work with scores as low as 500, as long as you got enough equity vested. And of course, it works on more than just your main home. You can use it on a rental, a second home, a townhome, anything up to a fourplex. Doesn't matter if it's tenant occupied or not. The agreement can last all the way up to 30 years, but you can buy them out at any time, after a sale, a refi, whenever makes sense for you. Now, of course, Point's not just free money, they do take their cut, and there are a few costs to know about up front. First is the processing fee, which can run up to 3.9% of what they're giving you. There's usually a minimum, subject to $2,000, and then you've got the usual stuff: appraisal, escrow, legal paperwork, pretty much all the same fees you'd see with a refi or a HELOC. The other piece to understand is how they calculate their share. They don't just go off of your current appraised value, they knock that number down a bit first. That can be up to 27%. It becomes the starting point for figuring out how much they get later. It's just their way of playing it safe. If your home doesn't go up in value or even drops, they'll take a hit too. But when it does go up, they're pulling from a lower starting point, so their slice is a little bigger than you might expect. And since they cap the total amount that you can pull at 70% of the home's value, it really only works if you built up a decent chunk of equity. If most of your property is still tied up in loans, this probably won't be an option. So if you got strong credit, solid reserves, and you like the idea of having a revolving line you can dip into whenever you want, HELOC can absolutely work. But if the debt load, the income checks, the payment shock, they're all just a little too tight for where you're at, Point is probably the easier way to get capital out. And if that sounds like something that you might want to explore, there's an affiliate link down in the description. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but we might earn a small commission if you use it, which really does help out the channel. And sometimes there are deals there that don't show up if you go straight to their site, so feel free to check that out if you're curious. Also, if you're interested in working with us or sponsoring a future video, just reach out using the email in the description below. And if you found this helpful, feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more of this kind of content. If you got any questions, anything to ask, drop those down in the comments. I read every single one and I try to answer as many as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.